Since this interview was recorded, things have changed and the Goat Head Bike and Skate Shop has closed. The event with Joseph Arnoux and his skate ramp will be held at the Santa Fe Art Institute instead. Check their website for details, sfai.org. Hello, you're listening to Coffee and Culture. We're on KTRC, which is at 103.7 FM and AM 1260. We're on just after 2 p.m. on Saturdays, and then the show's repeated on Sunday, also just after 2 p.m. And then it goes up as a podcast on KTRC's website, and then on my website. My website is chasedaniel.com. KTRC is at santafe.com. And my name is Matthew Chase Daniel, and I am your host every other week. And today I'm at Santa Fe Art Institute with two people, an artist, Joseph Arnoux, and the director of the SFAI, Toccarra Thomas. And Toccarra has been running this place for, a year?
Oh, not even.
Not
Since
even.
January.
So you're getting close to a year.
Creeping up on a year,
Yeah.
yes.
And the chill is back in the air after summer the last few days. And so it's getting close to what it was like in December when you got here.
Yeah, it's been my first Santa Fe fall, so very excited.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of year around here. The color and the light and the hot and the cold and all of it. Everything's sort of crashing together, and the harvests and all of that. So Joseph, you're a resident here, and you live in Albuquerque, so you didn't come too far, but you're working here and doing a project which will be at the Goat Head Indoor Skate and Bike Park, is that what it's called? On November 1st, coming up soon. So talk a little bit about the project and the inspirations for it and what you're making, what you were just showing me.
So, Oki, my name is Joseph Arnoux, and yeah, I've been in Albuquerque for the past 14 years working as an artist, mostly two-dimensional work, and so this project, the Stocco ramp, and Stocco is Blackfeet for mountain, so kind of a mountain ramp in translation, but I guess, it's a culmination. I started two-dimensional, just ink on paper with my designs, and then I realized, I'm not just a Native American artist. I've had this struggle with identity, and I know that BMX is a part of my identity as well, and so is, contemporary art. So I wanted to bring all these things together, trying not to leave any parts out, and the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, the positive, the negative of my life, and be transparent about it. Because as a Native artist, I got these other things in me that, like bike riding, that's something I utilize as for self-care, for mental health, for physical health. It's a way I express myself as well. So
yeah, I was watching videos online on your Instagram of you riding and jumping up on rails and sliding and flipping around, and it's inspiring. I was like, ooh, that would hurt my back.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to see you doing that. Is that something you started doing, riding bikes, doing that kind of stuff, when you were a kid, or is it something you came to later here in New Mexico? Or
so, I guess my adolescence, my childhood, being Native American, already trying to identify with my culture. My mom was a single mom of 3 kids, and she had her struggles getting through life, and we ended up going to foster care when I was 12 years old, 6th grade, and I stayed into foster care, permanent foster care, until I was 18, emancipated. Wasn't adopted, but during that time, I had a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, just all this trauma from what was going on. It was, now I know how to, now the perspective I have now is I look back and I know that it's historical trauma from years of residential school, of all the systematic policies that were inflicted upon us that trickled down to, the 90s, and I was put into foster care. And so, like I said, that frustration, that anger, that sadness, I had to release it somehow. And I did drawing. I was an artist then because my mom's an artist, and that definitely is something that, was influenced upon me. But the biking thing is kind of an aggression, a way of taking your physical anger and, getting it out. You're pushing your body to its limits, you're getting hurt, and you have to get back up and you have to try again. Mm-hmm. So it came from fun and joy as a kid, just having friends who did it, and then somehow weaved itself into my own life. So that's kind of like the roots of where the BMX starts.
That's wonderful, to find a route that channels that anger and frustration and wanting to push yourself and move through that's productive and life-giving and all of that. So thanks for finding your way to that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Can I ask, just because I'm nosy, what sort of art did your mom do?
So my mom, her name is Diane Covington. She's Colville Confederated Tribes enrolled, which is Plateau region, Spokane region as well of Washington. But she, like me, grew up in a Western world where her identity as a Native American woman, it was contemporary, and it was also reflected traditional elements. So I didn't see a lot of traditional elements to begin with until later in my life. I see it now within the past 10 years in my mom's artwork. But back then I seen a lot of her just expressing herself through clay, through painting, through drawing, and just that natural creative side kind of, it rubbed off on me, because our house was a studio, just like my house is now for my daughter. So, I guess, my mom, she was, I feel like, contemporary artist back then as a kid, but then now I see her Colville side coming out. I see her refining her who she is, just like I am refining who I am as in my culture. So,
yeah.
Sounds like there's a lot of overlap, because the project that you're working on now is about sort of bringing in this cultural heritage aspect to the bike and skate culture.
Yes, yeah, and that originally came from being influenced by, I'll say, Doug Miles, because I see him doing stuff with skateboarding as a native, and similarly I'm trying to do something with BMX so that for the community, more than just me, I guess, in that way.
Yeah, Doug's work is great, and then it's rooted there at White Mountain Apache, or I think it's where he lives, is from, in Arizona, but it's spreading out through skateboard brands, through Zoomies, and all these ways that he gets it out, but he's pushing it out and bringing it back to his community in a wonderful way.
Yeah.
And he's quite a character too.
Yeah. He just since you mentioned it, he partnered with Etnies, and they came out with a shoe, which is really cool to see. Remember back years ago, he partnered with iPath, which is another skate brand, but and I just bought a pair of the Etnies, so I'm waiting for them to come in the mail.
Okay.
Gonna sport those when I ride my bike.
Okay. And We're going to go to a break. We'll be back just after some messages from the people who pay for something, not for me. And I'm talking to Joseph Arnoux and Toccarra Thomas here at Santa Fe Art Institute. We'll be right back. You're back with Coffee and Culture. My name's Matthew Chase Daniel. I'm talking with Joseph Arnoux and Toccarra Thomas about Joseph's work that he's working on now and about Santa Fe Art Institute. So Santa Fe Art Institute, you have residency program where you have a group of artists from all over the country, all over the world, come here, live here. Some people are local and maybe they come and go, but most people live here. There's studio space. And this one is, they're all around different themes. So this theme of that's happening now is community of practice. Is that correct? Yeah. And so community of practice is people from diverse fields, diverse materials, diverse ways of working, diverse themes, coming together to share and sort of bounce things off each other. Is that?
And doing work that's rooted in community, you know, like I'm sure we all know from like the pandemic, that art making can be very lonely, especially if you're forced in that situation. So this is an opportunity for folks who are, their work is grounded in working with other people to come together. So it's sort of like a double layer community of practice.
Right.
And it's been really beautiful in a year where there is so much chaos and so much fracture across the globe, to have an opportunity to be in a space where artists are flowing in and out over the course of the year, who are very rooted in care and supporting people through exploration. Like it seems sort of like a way to kind of escape the outside world a little bit, even though we still all live in it.
Yeah, it's tricky in this time of all this challenges to our existence and our expression and our funding as artists or art organizations and our what we're allowed to say without ending up on a list and be targeted and all these things. There's a urge to sort of fight against that and speak out against that, and then there's also an urge to protect ourselves from that. And I think having a community and doing good work, just continuing to do good work and in community and for community, I think is so important, because it's so easy to get overwhelmed and stuck, not able to speak. Yeah. And community is what helps us get past that.
It does, and we're gonna double down. So I don't know. I believe in the 10 years that we've had the thematic residency. So this is a double anniversary. This is SFAI's 40th anniversary, and it's also the 10th year of the thematic residency. And in part because community is so important and what we've seen, we've decided to extend the theme into next year and shift it a lot. So this year is community practice. Next year is community practice call to action. So we'll actually, normally we work with 50 artists a year. And, you know, there's a lot of exploration now that we're 40, right? We're adults, of how we want to move forward and also how the world's changed.
Yeah.
And so this new iteration, which is just for next year, we're testing out some new models. We'll work with 5 artists over the course of the full year. So there'll be a year-long fellowship. Those artists aren't coming to Santa Fe. So they're actually going to be doing their fellowships in their home community, and then there'll be a virtual community of coming together. So artists from all over the world were nominated, and we're finalizing that process now, selection, but it's thinking about what it means to also operate in an uncertain time, right? Like when we started this process, we didn't have concern about travel, and now for many artists who are doing residencies, I mean, this obviously has broader applications, but particularly in the residency world, the idea of traveling, whether it's internationally or just even within the country, is a lot more fraught.
Right.
So supporting folks working in their home community and trying to figure out from a micro level, right, like how we can have repair and healing and support is really exciting. So
Yeah. Well, and call to action seems sort of what I was saying before. It's the opposite. There's coming together in a community and locally and supporting each other in a quiet way. But there's also what can we do to resist what's going on in the country and the world, and get other people involved and do action that maybe moves things a little bit, whether that's in politics or law or art.
yeah.
Art might make a difference in the world. I don't know.
We need it all. It's all
Yeah.
intersected, and along with that, we just had a meeting earlier today. There's another initiative that's a 2-year program that we're rolling out with SFAI alums who have spinal cord injuries. So there's a fellowship through the organization called Creative Access, which provides additional support with artists with spinal cord injuries who are coming to SFAI. And 4 of those alums are currently at the beginning, this is month 1, of putting together a residency model specifically for artists with spinal cord injuries. So right,
Wow.
like as we're sort of navigating this world, I think it's also about how we double down on being intentional about what it means to care and support people, and
Right.
recognizing it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
And these artists, this is an extension of their practice, so they'll be building the residency model to be replicated at other institutions as a way to support the residency field. And then they'll also be creating a video library of creative adaptive practices to share out just publicly. So if you're someone who has encountered or is moving through either the early stages or have had a spinal cord injury for a while, what does it mean? What have other artists learned about other ways to create your work and going through that transition of your body doing different things?
Yeah, that's important, and something that often is easy to overlook as for arts organizations or all organizations. And there's wonderful things, the American with Disabilities Act, which has really shifted things in a huge way across the country for years now. But there's still huge challenges, and they're different challenges than other people, that around a lens of equity or whatever. There's so many different ways that people experience challenge. What Joseph was saying about the trauma of residential schools and all of that. The history of his community is very different from the disadvantage of spinal cord injuries, but both very important.
And can intersect, right? And that's why like being in the residency world is so nuanced, because it's people. it's figuring out how to have a creative space of production and collaboration and care when you're bringing a lot of different folks together who are coming from a lot of different experiences, have a lot of different perspectives, and people who to run these type of places, work at these type of places, we are who we are, right? We can't reflect every identity, and so through the generosity of the artists who participate, we learn how to do better, be more intentional.
Right. I'm sure people are always pointing out things that work and things that don't work, and then there's shift in the future.
Yeah, and we have to be as experimental as we're hopefully opening the space up for others to be, right? So,
how many people at a time, like this past year, are in residence here?
So it's the maximum amount of artists is 12, and that could also include like collectives, small 2-person collectives, and this particular cohort, so starting in September, I'm like, what month is this? This month and next month, there are also a number of locally based artists as well. So it's really lovely because you have people coming from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, and then you have artists who are based here locally, and the concept of SFAI for where we are now is a site of exchange, right? And so if you have a bunch of artists together who are coming from different places, and I'm sure Joseph, like you and the other artists who are locally based, you're also like the ambassadors for the city, the region, and that's also a huge blessing for the artists that come, to have someone who like understands what it is to be an artist, and have that sort of opportunity to build like a genuine connection to a place.
Yeah. We have to go to another break. We'll be right back. I'm talking with Toccarra Thomas and Joseph Arnoux here at Santa Fe Art Institute. We'll be right back. You're back listening to Coffee and Culture. I'm Matthew Chase Daniel, talking with Toccarra Thomas and Joseph Arnoux. So, Joseph, you were saying that you're doing a project with your mother, collaboration up in Spokane?
Yes, so my mom's name is Diane Covington. She's Colville Confederated Tribe from Washington region, kind of more towards Spokane. But she's an artist as well, and I grew up seeing her do art, and I went through foster care, like I said, and went through years of learning and years of getting back to know my mom in the last decade while she's been over there. And we've got back into art again together as a family. My sister, not so much my brother, he's not much of an artist, but definitely my mom and my sister. And so next month in November in Spokane, Washington, the week of, I think it's the 14th, 15th, and 16th, it's called the Root Experience, or the Roots Experience. And my mom and I, we collaborated on a couple pieces, and the theme for that is going to be how do you heal now, or healing now. And so, like I explained earlier about trauma, healing, going through some of the things I did, this is a part of it. I'm 40, going to be 41 this year, and I think maybe I might be 42. I don't remember.
Are you the oldest or the youngest of the three, or in the middle?
I'm actually the oldest, so I have a younger brother and a younger sister, and then a really younger brother who was adopted. But so I kind of had to look after my siblings and be that parental role at sometimes during adolescence. But yeah, we're healing now and doing better. Art is a way of healing, and so this opportunity found its way in our life.
Yeah. So is your mom back in Washington State, living there, whereas before, when you were a kid, she was further east?
Yeah. While I was in foster care, I got emancipated at age 18. My mom, she decided to move back to Washington. Eventually my brother got emancipated. He moved back. My sister, same thing. And this is, within the last 20 years, 15 years, this is all happening. So they've been back for some time, and I went back in 2015, spent some time there, but I needed to be here in New Mexico for my daughter. That's important, going through what I went through, to be there for my child.
How old is your daughter now?
She's actually a freshman. She's about the same age I was in foster care, so she's 14, going to be 15 soon, freshman. Just got done with homecoming, and it's changed over time. So, but my mom, she's a caretaker for my grandparents in Cooley Dam now, and she's. Our family's kind of split apart, but this will be nice, an opportunity to visit.
Yeah. It sounds like maybe that's been a healing thing for her to be back there in that community.
Yeah, I don't really know what my mom's going through. I know it's both it's good and bad, I think. It's healing because she's there with her parents, but also I know she's going, it's a struggle. It's not easy being a caretaker. She's told me, but it's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
No, that's my wife's my wife's mother is in Los Angeles, and she and her brothers are back and forth all the time, each taking time to take care of the mom who needs help. And it's important and exhausting and meaningful and frustrating and all the crazy things.
Yeah.
Would it be? Would you be sharing too much if you could share a little bit about what the project is that you've been working on with your mom?
No, not at all. I mean, it kind of happened, serendipitously or sporadically, or kind of I was saying naturally. It came together because I applied to the Roots experience not knowing if I'd get in. I was accepted, and then I had to have 2 pieces there. And so I was like, well, what 2 pieces should I put into the show? And my mom said, well, you got some here at your grandpa's house. And she said, I've been actually working on some pieces. And she kind of felt bad, like she was doing it like without my permission. And I was like, that's just great to hear that she's just doing art, that she's just creating. So I know they're older pieces that I made back in 2015 when I was there. And so they're very abstract, kind of not so defined, but like more background, texture, color. But what she's putting on it, I'm not quite sure. She hasn't shared a lot of photos, and so honestly, when we get there in November, it'll be a surprise to me, and a pleasant surprise, because I'm just happy, like I said, that my mom's found creativity again, because we sometimes lose that muse. I myself did this past couple months last year, and I feel like this residency especially has brought out some more creativity that I've been needing. So it's good to see her as well doing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you should tell us, if you would, a little more about what's happening, the ramps that you're working on, and the symbology that's incorporated in that, and with these BMX skateboard ramps. And I'll just reiterate now, it's the launch of this is Saturday, November 1st from 12 to 3 at Goathead Skate and Bike Shop, which is at 825 Early Street, Suite H, here in Santa Fe. So it's the Staco Ramp Gathering.
Yeah. And this, this idea, it's something that kind of came out of last year, because I was one of 6 artists who was selected by the City of Albuquerque Arts and Culture, Public Arts Department, and also Fuse Makerspace, C&M Ingenuity, to take a rapid prototype course through IoT, which is Internet of Things. And so I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm a hands-on visual artist. I do, we emphasize as natives to do things by hand. And so this to me is like innovative. I'm scared of it, like in my mind, but I don't have to be. And so I took the class, learned coding, learned 3D printing, learned laser engraving. And so now with that knowledge, I want to create a work in the round, which is the ramp, the Staco ramp. And it is like an interweaving of the BMX side of me, which is physical, mental, the creative side of me, the spiritual side of me, my culture, putting in the Blackfeet, tipi elements, but also, I live in this contemporary world, so that innovation, the technology with the IoT, and so I'm really, I enjoy the 2D elements of painting still, which you'll see, but I'm really trying to push the IoT ways I can laser engrave, take ledger art, and like in a new way to see it with illuminated lights and sensors, sound sensors that will be triggered by either skateboards, bikes, just to show that us as natives, we can do other things than just make traditional elements, which is still good. Don't get me wrong. But I also know that we can push the envelope and have a seat at the table of what's going on right now in the world.
Yeah. We're going to go to our last break, and then we'll be right back. You're back listening to Coffee and Culture. We're on 103.7 and AM 1260 KTRC, streaming at santafe.com. Podcasts of this and other past shows that I've done are on my website, chasedaniel.com, or on Spotify, Amazon, those kind of podcast platform places. I'm here with Joseph Arnoux and Toccarra Thomas at Santa Fe Art Institute. Joseph did a wonderful piece when I became more aware of his work than I had been last year. We at Axel Contemporary, the gallery I run with my friend Jerry Wellman, we did an art and activism show, and on the outside we had lots of activist posters by different artists, and one was Joseph, and it's this beautiful tipi and a snake and some clouds, and it says on the tipi, no Dakota Access Pipeline, and it says water is life, and there's maybe crude oil dripping off the snake, representing the pipeline and the sort of evil, snaky, oily thing, and danger of contaminating the river and the environment there. Very graphic, beautiful, and very to the point, and great piece of work. So I was happy to see that last year, and I'm happy to be here with Joseph now. So on your skate ramps, there are cutouts and painted designs and that refer to more traditional Blackfeet teepee designs. And so just talk a little bit about Blackfeet teepee designs and what the symbols and how things are represented on those shapes.
Definitely. So this past year, this summer, I was invited back home to Browning, Montana, near Glacier National Park, which is located on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation, by my relative, Johnny Arnoux. He lives in Seattle. And he's a wonderful person, human being who went through a lot, and, brought me back to the people. And through that, I was able to witness Sundance and not participate, but, be able to be there for the first time, seeing the tradition, the culture, the ceremony happen right before my eyes. And prior to that, I have this feeling of like, do I belong here? Am I able to use this symbology because I'm not really living on the land, but I'm, I still feel like this is who I am and in my blood. And so, I learned through Johnny and through Leon Rattler, elders who are part of the Crazy Dog Society there, and also from friends like Terrence Gardapi, and especially Taryn Lasgun Kip, who is another local artist from the Blackfeet Reservation, just like his dad, but also here in Santa Fe. And so I see these teepee designs, the mountains, the lines, the horizon lines, the constellations, the polka dots, the circles, the triangles, and all these things, they mean things in our culture. They have stories that go along with them. And I started to take those elements and I, like I said, cut out the designs into the ramps. The ramp itself mimics the actual stucco mountain design on a teepee, so it already has that there. I'm just shedding light on it to different people from different communities. The BMX community doesn't know about Native American culture, and vice versa. The Native American culture doesn't know about BMX and ramps. And so it's melding, it's like melting these two things together so that, a broader community can know what I'm trying to do in the future. The youth can. And so that's kind of, where I'm coming from as Amskapi Pakani Blackfeet. and how I learned, my culture as an adult now and how to incorporate it into the artwork.
Yeah, Karen Laskin was on the show a year or two ago, and we were talking about Browning, Montana, where he's from too, and I've never been up there, but I get this sense of it through talking to him and looking at maps and stuff. It's like on one side is like the plains that extend forever to the east, and on the other side are these most extreme, beautiful, steep, verdant mountains.
Yeah.
And the community there is right at that borderline. And so many of those symbols make so much sense. Clouds and triangles, the triangle of the mountain, the rounded hill, the triangle of the tipi, which is a reflection of the mountain pulled out into the plains a little bit.
And, when you go there, you can actually see why the hills on the tipi are so round, because just the way they ripple across the plains, and literally those mountains are so sheer and like jagged, they do look like triangles. And so they don't, it looks like the triangle is like, I don't know, like, but it is like almost literal to that sense. And it's, Taryn can probably speak on more about it as far as like, why the specific stories, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful country, and us as Blackfeet people, we both were on the plains, with buffalo jumps, getting buffalo meat that way, but also up in the mountains where we get kinnikinnick and sweet pine and mullein and other things. That's all medicine around there.
Yeah. What's kinnikinnick?
Kinnikinnick is actually a tobacco that we pick. And so, you think of tobacco in one way, but as natives we have mountain smoke, and that might be, sweetgrass, it might be sage, it might be kinnikinnick, it might be all sorts of things. And it's very specific to the individual, I think, and to the tribe. Yeah.
The Arnoux side, yeah.
Yeah. My dad, he is Blackfeet, and my mom's Spokane and Colville. My dad, he was, his dad was, my grandpa was in the military, so they moved around a lot, and wound up in Spokane, and that's how my parents met. But both, my dad now lives out in Welpinit and has lived there, remarried, is a forest firefighter, and
lives out where? Lopinit? Where is that?
Or Welpinit. It's the Spokane Indian Reservation.
Okay.
Just maybe 45 minutes northwest of Spokane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of the world I don't know. That always sounds beautiful.
Yeah. Very, a lot of pine trees.
Yeah. We can talk a little more. I don't know if there's other things coming up. SFAI Open Studios, maybe in November. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
We do. People can come and hang out with Joseph and some of the other artists. So we're sort of in a transition point. We had an Open Studios last week, so the artists who were here for the month of October leave this week, bittersweet, and we'll be joined by additional artists who are coming in. So the sort of joint Open Studios will be on November 12th from 5:30 to 7:30, and it's really a great opportunity not just to come and like see work, but to actually like talk to people. It's a great opportunity if you're creative and you're looking to collaborate and connect with people authentically. Like I feel like every time I look up at Open Studios, you have people sort of clumped together around, and you can see that people have made new friends and new connections, and that's such a big part of it, right? It's like you can see artwork in a lot of different spaces, but you often don't have an opportunity to build or expand community in the same type of way as the Open Studios. That's my opinion, but I don't know what your thoughts are, Joseph.
I did miss out in September, but just last week in October, I was so happy to be here for the Open Studio, because just like you said, Toccarra, it was good to mingle, it was good to network, it was good to talk about my art, and I met some folks from different galleries, the Makerspace here in Santa Fe, so Yeah, definitely a good opportunity to just meet new people.
Yeah, so people, and there's delicious food always too.
Yes, hospitality is important. So there's great art, there's great people, there's great food, and yeah, I even if I didn't work here, I would highly recommend it. And
yeah, I enjoy coming when I have. I wasn't here for the one last week, but I've been to a lot of them. And that's Santa Fe Art Institute, for those who may not know, is on the Midtown campus where the Santa Fe University of Art and Design used to be, off of St. Michael's Drive. And you can find them also on the website, information about all of this. And Joseph's work, has an Instagram that you can look at too, and find him also through the Santa Fe Art Institute website. And come to Goat Head Skate and Bike Shop on Saturday, November 1st from 12 to 3, and check out the ramp and meet Joseph and all of that. So thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.